Hey everybody, this is Brittany here with Surfing Waves of Light. I'm here with my temporary puppy, Lunu, because I'm a puppy sitter now. And I am going to channel a message for you all and for myself, of course, on the 2025 energies. We are heading in to the new year, and there's a lot of changes in the energies this time around. So I want to share that with you all. All right, so let's dive right in. So the first message that I've been getting for 2025 is attract instead of chase. And so what the guides have been saying is that for a while now, there have been a lot of messages coming through channels. Abraham, Tina Louise Spalding, Daniel Scranton, Bashar. I mean, there's tons of amazing channelers out there who have been prescribing a lot of different practices. And these practices may have felt in the past like they didn't work quite as well as you wanted, or in certain situations it may have worked and in others it has not. And so what they want you to know is that the energies now are shifting into favor of these practices. So the way that time and space was set up before, it was much more manipulated and separated, because we have actually begun the journey back to love, back to oneness, back to away from separation. At this time, what's happening is that because we're closer to love, the love vibration has strengthened, and so these type of practices are going to be much more powerful. So attracting instead of chasing is going to pay off much more. They're showing me an example of maybe in the past where you didn't chase something or go after something as hard and you tried attracting and it did not work. But what they're saying also is that attraction doesn't just come from doing nothing. Attraction comes from a nothingness in vibrational alignment. So you could be doing nothing and be out of alignment, and that might look like you're doing nothing, but there's a lot of feelings of unsurety or mixed emotions. Mixed emotions are a very difficult thing because you're sending out mixed signals. So if you don't have processes for calming the emotions, coming to peace, and being able to really sit in attraction, not nothingness with anxiety, there is a difference. So they said to think about that, focus on that, but the energies now that are coming, they are very much more a magnetism. And when you are just following your flow, doing your thing, this is when you're going to be able to attract the best experiences to you. When you are in flow, you're saying to the universe, I surrender the will that I think I know what's best for me. And I'm going to allow flow to guide me to the right places, to the right people and the right things. And for example, for me, something that has started coming up is dog sitting. I didn't ever intend to be a dog sitter, and I've been watching this puppy for a friend, this beautiful, beautiful boy who was just the best. Hi, everybody. And all of a sudden, lots of people are asking me to dog sit for them, and it's such a beautiful way for me to have places to stay when I'm not in the bus, and also get paid to do it and just raise my vibration, which is another message that they wish to share with you, is to focus on things, people, places, and events that raise your vibration. They are saying that there are some beings who don't have control over a lot of their time, and that's okay, because you still need to manage the day-to-day, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, feed yourself, clothe your family, all those type things. But what they're encouraging us to do now is that any time outside of those commitments that relate directly to your needs, they're encouraging you to stop spending time with people that maybe aren't on this path or aren't open to it or aren't just totally uplifting you into the vibration of peace and love. There, you want to be spending time or spending your time doing things that really fill up your soul, that fill up your cup. It's so important right now to go into experiences with pristine vibrations because of how the energies have shifted. The more pure your vibration, the better the experience is going to be. And because we've all been through so much and there's been so much trauma and chaos, and sort of we've been in the phase of this journey where things were kind of raked up from the bottom, where it's very murky, there's a lot of cleansing going on, right? It would be like if you had congestion in your lungs and then it started to come up, you would have to cough and clear and spit that out. Now, if you already had clean lungs, you wouldn't have to go through that process. And we will eventually get to the point where you will only go through that process in a lighter sense, but the more new you are to spiritual practices or to developing a connection to your source, the more that you're going to have to clear out, because you've been guided and moving your life in the direction of the ego, of the 3D mindset, which has served us in a way. But our energies have said to the universe, we're done with that now. We're ready to move toward love, and we already have. Time and space have shifted. You'll notice time is moving really fast. Even space may seem less real or less physical, so to speak, distortions in space and time. This is all because love has increased, and that decreases time. It decreases separation, because really separation is the thing that is needed to have space and time. If you're all one, there's no space, there's no time. Oneness is this everlasting just existence energy. It doesn't do things to other things. It doesn't believe it's separate. It's just one, and it's love, and it's very self-sustainable and all-encompassing. So another thing they want you to think about as you move through this year and as you enter this year is, what does a 5D life look like? Now, what they're showing me is that 3D life is very busy. Errands, jobs, here, there, everywhere. But think about 5D. 5D life is slow. It's glacial. Because think about what God incarnate, what Creator incarnate would look like. He would not run around, or she, or that energy would not be running all around. Love is whole. It's self-sustaining. It knows it is cared for. That is love. And so think about what your life may look like in 5D. I know for me, it's very slow. It's waking up and stretching and meditating and taking the dog for a walk and cooking a nice meal, getting a little work done, taking another walk. It's this very nice, beautiful flow. And I'm telling you, in those moments of flow, you will find the biggest opportunities when you are just allowing. And so 5D life is so much more about allowing than planning and bowling and all these different things that we put pressure on ourselves to do in the 3D world, or hanging out with this person or that person. It's a different way of existing, and it's much more self-sustainable. You'll notice in this world, especially the traditional world, not to say, my guide's caveat, if you're building something and you're on that's your path, you will be dedicating a lot of time and energy to a specific thing. But many beings that are moving into 5D, they may not be so interested in creating too many big things on this planet. And this is why, because as love continues to embody, there will actually be a closing of the awareness. Right now, our awareness is global, it's worldly, it's what's going on in Ukraine and India and Pakistan and all these places. But really what love is it looks upon what is right in front of it and serves those energies, because that is what is there. You can trust that the intelligence of this universe promises that whatever you need to focus on will be right in front of you. Now, you might be inspired to go to Ukraine or inspired to focus on Pakistan. That's different. I get inspirations. Right now, I'm very inspired to learn about Sri Lanka. I'm reading about the history of Sri Lanka. I learn a lot of spiritual lessons from studying other cultures. But you can know that there's nothing that you need to grasp or reach for. For example, even in studying the history of Sri Lanka, this house I'm staying at with this beautiful dog, Lunu, which is Sri Lankan for salt. Beautiful boy, my salty boy. There are books here about Sri Lanka because Lunu's mom is Sri Lankan. And so the universe will challenge you to rise above your fears and your beliefs, but it will also provide a lot of ease when you follow its path. An all-loving God, a creator self, does not wish for its beings to suffer. It does not. If you had a child, would you wish for it to suffer, or would you give it everything you could to support it into having the best life or fulfilling its highest path? That is what is happening right now. That is what is always happening. God, universe, creator, source, it's not against us. It's so for us that we can't even believe how for us it is. And the only reason we can't believe that is because of the conditioning. And that's where that mucus cleansing process is coming. It's not in changing the world. It's in changing our perception. Now, for example, I could be really attached to having my own house and to having my own dog. But one of the downloads I've gotten about 5D, and even just wealth and abundance in general, it's not about owning everything. Owning is different than ownership. You can take ownership over a dog, a child, a property. Owning sometimes has a different energy to it, but it's not necessary. If you're open, you can have your own house and watch a dog and not have to pay for it. You don't have to spend all that money, especially in today's housing market. A big download that I've been getting is that there are different ways to navigate these things. And so thinking about what you want to take ownership over, whether you own it or not, you can control something, you can have a say in something without owning it. And a lot of times the things that we own, because if there's an energy to that world that I'm still processing, a lot of the times the things that we own, they actually own us. And so a simplification of life is a big part of 5D. It's not a million things. It's a few things in high quality. You'll know that something is 5D because it's very sustainable. Love is very sustainable. It's much more sustainable than 3D, which requires a lot of effort all the time. And there is a difference between doing something in flow and effort and resistance. And as you go through having time off and having time on, when I was a travel nurse, that's when I first started learning that difference, because I'd work for 3 months, and then I'd be off for 3 or 6 months. And it was the first time I really was able to feel into who is Brittany when she doesn't have to work or be a sister or any of the other roles I play. And so I got to really feel into myself and go deeply into the parasympathetic nervous system. That's our relaxation response. And they're saying that the nervous system, which is made up of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, it's telling us where we are. We were meant to function. 5D functions in the parasympathetic. That's the relaxation. That's the rest. That's the digestion. Because when we're in sympathetic, blood is shunted away from our stomach. It is shunted away from the brain. It is put to the muscles and to the heart and to the lungs so we can breathe and run. And that's how we've been living our life. 3D is synonymous with the sympathetic, the stress response. But really, 5D is consciousness. And consciousness can only come from parasympathetic. That's when we relax. That's when we digest situations that happen. In 3D, think of a war. Someone gets blown up and you have to keep going. Or when I used to work in the hospital, I would see a dead baby and have to continue to care for the people on my shift. I was not given time to process that or digest it or figure out how that experience was serving my bigger life purpose. We've been living in sympathetic, and now it is so important to have lots of time in parasympathetic. You won't always need all that time in parasympathetic, but right now, because we're coming from so much sympathetic, we're being asked to balance that out with downtime. And so this year may not seem as busy as last year. Maybe last year was a big year, a lot of work, a lot of clients, a lot of interactions. This year, it may feel like less is going on, but what the universe wants me to tell you all is that even if there's less clients, they want you to watch the money magic, the time magic, the energy magic. They're saying that you're actually going to be getting a lot more this year, even if you're doing less. And that's another thing about love. Love creates, love expands, love is ease, it's grace, it's forgiveness, it's compassion, it's gentleness. And gentleness, it allows more to come. And so that is what we're doing this year. We're going to be allowing, we're going to be attracting, we're going to be hanging out with our puppies and letting them sleep on our lap, knowing that we're making money or making time or making energy or making whatever we feel we need just by doing that. Because the energy of 5D is not busy, it's not crazy. There's a video I channeled by the Arcturians maybe a couple years ago called The Great Slowdown, and it got a lot of hits. And I think that concept really is matching with a lot of people. We cannot sustain the pace of life. That's why people get sick all the time and have diseases. The chronic illness epidemic, the sickness epidemic in the American states, it is so related to living in the sympathetic, to the amount of work we think we need to do just to deserve housing or food or love relationships. We have built so much of our foundations on sacrifice and suffering. And the thing is as we move into 5D, that cannot exist. Sacrifice and suffering cannot exist. And so because we're more loving, time and space is shrinking down, and the responses are going to be coming a lot faster. So you're going to notice that if you're out of alignment, you're going to get that hip pain or that headache or that cold that lingers. Because really this time, too, this winter time, it's about going inward. It's about being calm. It's about relaxing and processing, digesting all that's happened in the beautiful, warm summer months of the Northern Hemisphere. So there is a lot that is happening, and restoring your vibration to the highest level is going to be a key factor in the upcoming year. Instead of busying up your calendar, instead of having things planned for every day, give yourself that beautiful gift of time, if you can, to do something, process it, and then restore your vibration, or notice the things that you leave from feeling energized, feeling refreshed. These are signals. This is where the emotions help us. This is where you are already getting guidance. When you enter a situation and you leave it feeling energized and excited, these are the beings you're meant to be with. That's just on a quantum level, a state of excitability, right? Excitability, potential. That is there. And then you're going to have other situations where you're going to leave feeling drained. Something is happening with electromagnetically, quantumly, where the energy is being moved from you to something else. It's not that we can't share our energy, but sharing has much more of an equal flow. There is a filling of each other's cup. It doesn't have to be your cup fills, my cup drains, my cup fills, your cup drains. Love, sustainability is when things, people, situations serve each other. Both can be filled. Now, processing will happen, all that type stuff, but what the focus this year is on loving yourself, being gentle with yourself, allowing yourself the time and space to do the things that you want to do, that your self-direction is. And of course, channeling for yourself. It is important to get information from beings and confirm intuitions, but know that we're all separate individuals and we're each getting different guidance. There may be a universal energy coming down, but you're an individual and your path could be different, and you could be dealing with some different energies. So big encouragement there. And I wanted to share that, and I wanted to leave you guys with this channeling from Daniel Scranton. I really resonate with his channelings. I feel like we bring down the same energies, and he said it best. So I'm going to read this for you to end this little channeling talk message of 2025. And here's what his guides, the 12th dimension creator beings, had to say today. We are here for you. We are the creators. We are a 12th dimensional collective of non-physical beings, and we are here to help. You baby. You have all you need at all times, and you are being guided to what you have inside of you at all times as well. One of the ways in which you do get guided to what is inside of you is by becoming disillusioned by a teacher or a set of teachings. Ultimately, you want to have faith in yourselves, in your abilities, and in your connection to that which you truly are, which is, of course, source energy. If you rely too heavily on someone else's connection to the source that we all are, then chances are that person or that being or collective will be knocked off the pedestal. Many people lose faith in those moments and go into a dark night of the soul, but when they recuperate, they are more likely to trust themselves, to go within, and to become their own guide. Now, others do exist to assist, and you can receive confirmation and advice from outside of you that resonates with you, that helps you recognize that you were right all along. There is always a place for spiritual teachings and spiritual teachers, but you do want to ultimately understand that you have your own guidance and that you have your own connection. And sometimes you do create scenarios for yourselves to give you those reminders. You want to recognize who and what you really are, and that the path to heaven is within you. And so other times you will put all of your eggs in another basket. Perhaps you will think that having this much money, this house, this spouse, and this car, an amount of fame will bring you happiness, fulfillment, allow you to feel the way that you've always wanted to feel. And when those things fail, a human being also then must go through the experience of disillusionment and turn to the light that is within them. Ultimately, it would be a lot easier if you were all taught at a very young age that you are source, that all the love you have ever wanted is within you, and that you don't need anything else outside of you, or anyone for that matter, to complete you. But sometimes you find out through the living of your life, and you come to realize that everything does have its place on your journey. Nothing, however, is meant to be more valuable to you than what you have pulsating inside of you at all times. That is why falling in love is so powerful. Falling in love reminds you of who you are, but then, at the end of the day, you still have to recognize that it is the love you feel that is important and not the object of that love. So again, all kinds of things happen within your relationships that hopefully bring you back to understanding that you are meant to live as the love that you are, in spite of everything not being exactly the way you would like it to be. And that is everything you ever need to know about living a life there on planet Earth as a spiritually awake person. We are the creators, and we love you very, very much. So that was a Daniel Scranton message from today. Everything you need to know as an awake person is the title of that, the 12D creators. So yeah, think about that. Think about loving yourself. But truly, 2025 is the year of you. You're the president. You're the queen. You're the king. What is your guidance saying? You are always being guided. You are always being given chances to confirm your guidance, and practice that and go through it. Do all those things, and you're going to really enjoy your life knowing that you have everything you need inside of you, that all you need to do is attract instead of chase. Raise your vibration by cleansing and allowing yourself to fill up to be the most pristine vibration that you can be, and love yourself. Because if you're loving yourself and you're invoking that kindness, that gentleness, that compassion, that time for clearing, you're going to have a much lighter load as you walk the journey back home. And that's all we're doing, walking home. We can do that with a heavy bag, or we can get rid of the things we don't need anymore when the time comes to release them, when we know that we don't need them anymore. So I love you guys all so much. I'm really appreciative. I am going to be offering a Course in Miracles themed channeling class this winter. It'll be, I believe, Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. starting in mid-January, and we're going to do 6 sessions. So if anyone is interested in signing up for that, it's going to be a chance to practice your own intuition. My guides will be channeling. We'll be helping you channel your guides, whether that's through writing or verbal channeling or interpretation of sleeping dreams. We're going to go through it all. So if you're interested in that class, give me an email at brittany@surfingwavesoflight.com. Otherwise, I love you guys so much. I wish you the most beautiful day. And Lunu, say bye, Lunu. This is the baby. Lunu says bye too. He loves you all so much because he's the best boy. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your year and a beautiful January.